monitor set up right now, so please bear the fuck with me. Just bear with me. If you don't bear with me, we're gonna have some problems. I'm introducing the Letterhack, folks. Matt Strackbein. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Give me a second. Still setting up. This is my highly professional.
Some people say Strackbein. Some people say Strackbein.
Many
Whatever
people
you
are
want.
saying that. Well, I'm only interested in what many people are saying.
Well, many people in my family in Texas say Strackbein, and the ones in Arkansas and Florida say Strackbein.
Okay.
I'm not really sure why it's different.
So you were the last guest I've had on, and as a result, I didn't need to change the thing that says your name on there. So that's super convenient for me. Oh shit, you're frozen? Why are you frozen? Oh no?
I don't know. Am I still frozen?
I think so. All right, now you need to redo that bit because when I called you, you were drinking hot sauce, and now I notice you're wearing a green shirt. I'm not sure what that is about, but I noticed you were drinking hot sauce and no one saw it because you didn't wait for the goddamn stream to show up. So what is this hot? Wait, what is the hot sauce? What is this? What do you have here? Oh, you're laughing with hot sauce in your mouth. That's bad. That's not good. That's not good.
This is just Reuben's. Do you see it?
Dave Rubens?
No. Oh no, Reuben's horse tooth. The bad one though. It's the bad one.
Oh, Dave's Gourmet. Host Pepper.
Yeah, I don't chug that one.
You don't chug that one? That's a shame.
But yeah, I heard you had something against green shirts, so I was like, well, let's test that theory.
That is true. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't like green. I don't like the color green. I don't like every time I go outside and see the green everywhere, I'm reminded at how much I am dissatisfied with my life. And so the fact that people would wear green on their body, I find it to be highly offensive. I think we have enough green in the world. We could use with a little less.
Okay, well, I have one thing that I would like to put out there as well. During this interview, please don't swear at me, because I'm not sure I can handle it.
I don't know if I can. I honestly don't know if I can. I might just do it on accident. I've got a problem.
People
I've actually
swearing at me and calling me names makes me very uncomfortable.
I'm sure it does. And, you know, part of as you know, I'm going through court proceedings. And on the table right now is me going to anger management because I have swearing issues. You know, the other day I was in the courtroom and I called someone a motherfucker. It just slipped. I couldn't help it. I just said motherfucker. And
You
then
did?
they marched me out in handcuffs. Now I'm making all that up. But except for the anger management, I need to manage my anger. I have a receipt that's stuck to my foot because it's on my floor for some reason. But that's not important right now.
Everybody needs tools. That's how I look at it. You could call it anger management if you want. I call it having the tools to, get through your day, get through your routine, to be a productive member of whatever your community may be. There's no reason not to have this. Yeah.
And I'm very productive as a result. Now, that being said, right again, there's a lot of people that are not part of the community that find my swearing to be abhorrent. We recently have had this issue where an enemy streamer is afraid of the fuck word, and it's honestly a little bit embarrassing to me because I can't help myself, and I'm actually facing career implications with my inability to stop myself from saying the fuck word.
Good fucking luck. I mean, that is just like how they call it anger management implies that there's nothing wrong with anger. It just needs to be managed, right? I think there should be anger managers in the world, like a position. Yeah, like
you
we're
have an accountant, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we have managers all over the place. How come no anger managers?
Exactly. That's exactly correct. Now that we've got the stand-up routine out of the way, as we are sitting down, why are you here? You're here to shill some little cartoons you're drawing. Yeah. What's going on with that?
Yeah. As I said last time I was on, I have launched a Kickstarter for an original comic book called Milagro, which is Espanol or miracle. So if you can't remember Milagro, just call it miracle.
I will remember
it's about,
neither of those things.
Oh, okay. Well, it's about a... That's fine. Well, I can manage that.
Thank you.
It's it's a story about a failed luchador who's homeless, living on the streets of Mexico City, where he finds a path to redemption. And it's a street fighting comic, but there's a lot of heart and soul. The Kickstarter launched on July 5th. It was funded in 3.5 days. And so now we're moving on to what they call stretch goals.
Right.
So if we get over...
the first stretch goal is you double the funding and then give it all to me for being the moral support. Is that correct?
Close.
Okay, close.
We don't even have to double it.
Okay. That's where I was off. The giving me the money part, that was spot on.
Yeah. If like you will get some money, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure how much though. But all we have to do is get to 9,000. And we will I'm
what
going to
happens
read it.
when you get over 9,000?
Well, yeah, that's the second stretch goal. So the first stretch goal is 9,000, and right now we're hovering around 8,200. And we're going to add pages to the book. So we'll put a sketchbook in the back of it. We'll add a character design section in the back. These are things that art fans and comic book people just love to have. It's like extra features on a DVD.
Right. Yes. No, absolutely.
And then every single level will get a shout out in print. So like your name on the thank you page in the comic. And we're doing a second sticker sheet. So there was one sticker sheet, but now everyone's guaranteed a sticker sheet once we get to 9,000.
I need that. I need to hear that again. You're saying not only is there already a sticker sheet, which is like that's in and of itself revolutionary. You're saying if these stretch goals are met, if people spend thousands and thousands of dollars, they will get stickers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can throw in like $25 and end up with one of these sticker sheets because it goes to every level of $25 and up. So you get a lot of stuff for $25.
And how long is this fundraiser going on?
20 more days.
Okay. So what you're saying, and maybe we can have you on like the day before the last day again. Why not, right? Okay. So what you're saying is if you spend $9,000, you will get not only free stickers, but some really horrible sketches that are incomplete with no color.
No one has to spend $9,000.
Well, it's a cumulative effort. The human hive collectively going together.
And the sketches are sometimes colored. By the way.
Okay. That's a game changer. I'd spend $9,000 on that. Yeah. That's incredible. I just gotta say, like, real quick, no jokes. That's pretty awesome that you managed to get that much money. Like how, like, would you like to go into, like, how the social media aspect is, like, played into this? Obviously, I take full credit for all of this, but, you know, I'll take 98% credit. So, of the other 2% credit, like, have you gotten a lot of, like, big-name people circulating it? Like, have you been on other shows talking about this? Has the crew been on other shows? Like, what's the marketing angle of this? And how, like, because it's been very successful.
Yeah, no, I hit up a bunch of people on the left-wing independent media circuit, so to speak. I don't think it's a circuit, but the community, and said, hey, just so you know, this is going on. A retweet from you would give us a huge boost. People like yourself having me on the show is a big deal. That gets a lot of traction. And then, like super random, like Anna Kasparian retweeted it last week. And then last night, Jamie Peck.
So wait, you're telling me in between blackmailing fellow left-wing YouTubers, Anna Kasparian is retweeting startup underground comic strips? Is that correct?
Yeah, our comic must be funded by NATO or something.
Of course.
Why else would she care?
Of course. That makes perfect sense. That's where you're getting all these $9,000 from, obviously.
Yeah,
is that I'm sorry, just keep going.
No, well, it's it's really fun because we go on comic book podcasts. Our writer Guillermo Zagara was on a wrestling podcast,
Okay.
which is he's hosted by the fight consultant for the comic. We have a guy looking at all the wrestling moves, making sure they're accurate and as brutal as possible. And so that has been huge because, you get clips of that stuff and you can keep resharing it and getting people into it who may not have seen it live. I'll share this out until the end of the campaign. So that's been a big deal. The guy running the Milagro Twitter account has been like working his tail off, pretty much nonstop.
Are they an underpaid worker? Are they being exploited by any chance?
No, but they can be compensated even more as we gain more money. So here's the thing about once you reach your goal, you have to wonder what we're going to do with the money when you get over the goal, right? So I've sent out updates to everyone who's backed us so far, reassuring them that it's not going to go into my pocket. I'm not going to get new windows on my house or repave my driveway or anything.
Which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, because I'm looking at that window right now on the side of the screen. And in fact, this isn't too visible on the stream, so I'm going to make sure everyone can see this. So this window over here is actually not looking so good. So if you were to get new windows, I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be a problem with me. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I can do it on my own. And, it's a 100-year-old house. I think these windows are probably 30 years old.
Okay.
But it's pretty old. But, I just need people to understand that all the money goes into the project, and that includes greater compensation for people who are already getting compensated. So we'll just say, hey, we have more money. Here's more money for you, which is unheard of, right? Like, it's bonus.
Unheard of to pay workers for their work, definitely. In the year 2021, in a capitalist dystopia, actually paying people for their productivity, that's crazy. Yeah, so we're trying to do the right thing by everybody. And so the more people who back the campaign, the more money or the more stuff you get, and the more people get on the backside of the project, everyone who's working behind the scenes, who you may or may not have heard of, everyone gets compensated. So that's our overall goal. You start out just wanting to make a comic book and put it out in the world, but then you need money. And then the mechanism for making the money allows you all these other opportunities to hook people up. So that's what we're trying to do. Absolutely.
And it's working. So I'm really happy about it.
So there's a I just want to say, like, for real though, like, this is all very awesome, and I absolutely wish you the best on all of this, and hope that you can turn this into, like, maybe doing more series, or maybe doing more, like, kind of comic books, because this is something that I find to be fascinating personally. I have not yet contributed to the Kickstarter because I haven't gotten paid this month. But
but you have. But just doing this is a huge contribution, because anyone
does that mean
who
I get free stickers?
I will hook you up, yes. Well, look, I work for Sticker Giant. I work at a sticker company, so it's totally doable.
Okay, hold the phone. Where is my phone? Okay.
I'm not going to do comic sans on a sticker.
Okay, but what is the possibility of getting Above It All stickers? Is that possible?
Yeah, totally.
Is this possible? That's easy?
Yeah. I mean, it's totally feasible. We can do that. But is it going to be Comic Sans or...
I don't know what it's going to be. All I know is you draw comics, and now you're telling me there's a problem with Comic Sans, so I don't really know what's going on there.
They have appropriated that word. It's not fair.
I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar. But we have a rumor in the chat that you're actually making so much money that you're going to be launching yourself into space soon. Is that true?
I didn't want that to get out, but yes. Okay. That's my... And we're actually going to go just short of space. So I need at least $10 billion more, and then we'll get right up to the orbit and chicken out at the last second. But
would you be interested in, like, getting like an umbrella and then just jumping out as you're in orbit, and then just kind of, like, with the umbrella just kind of falling down?
if I get over 10 billion, I would gladly do that. Sure.
Okay. That
That
sounds
is the 10
amazing. You can get
billion.
like a really long life straw so that you can breathe.
That'd be great. But hey, oh, I wanted to tell you, I added a new challenge today.
Okay.
If we meet that first stretch goal by the end of day Friday, so like midnight Friday, which is $9,000, I will draw Sam Cedar from the Majority Report in a compromising position. I've tried to do this before with Twitter followers, and it never worked. So I still haven't drawn it, but it's gonna be good.
Okay. Is Sam Cedar aware of this? That you are going to utilize his likeness for profit?
He has retweeted this every time I've made the challenge,
Okay.
and
Now,
I'm thinking
is that
that
like retweeting it because he thinks that he's going to get out ahead, and then by retweeting it, it'll not happen as a result? Or like is he interested in this? Like is he like is that like a little bit of like autoeroticism going on in him? Like are you aware of that?
I don't know. I think he believes it won't happen, and on the other hand, I think he has confidence that I'm not going to do anybody wrong, but it may or may not include. So we'll see. Could be good. It could be real good. So we just got to hit that stretch goal by end of day Friday.
Okay. All right. So what is today? Remind me. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Wednesday morning.
Okay. So Friday. Now, is it end of day Friday? What time zone?
Like, let's just say midnight. I mean, if we get close, I'll do it.
Like, what's the time zone?
Within $100.
Because, like, I want to let you know, no one lives in the mountains. So, like, if it happened, yeah, like, what would happen if it was, like, 12:04 Mountain Time? Like, no one lives there.
I think we could just say by Saturday morning, you'll see the art. So, let's just say midnight Eastern time.
Okay.
Because that'll give me a couple extra hours to bang it out.
Okay, so midnight Eastern, so we're losing hours then.
Midnight Eastern time.
What about midnight Pacific time? That way you get an extra however many?
No. Come on. We got to get on it.
All right, you heard it here, folks. You don't have. Like, if you live in California, you're fucked. I don't know what to tell you.
Should we do Pacific time? We could just make that up right now.
Yeah, why not? Give yourself a couple more hours.
Fine, Pacific time. Let's do it.
Here's the thing. If you do that, you can do like the last, like the whole day of Friday. You can say, like, you can have a tweet every hour. There's X amount of hours left. Get in now, right? And then the more hours you got, because obviously time zones just make more hours. Right now we have a 27-hour day to work with, right? So you start the day on Eastern time and end the day on Pacific time. That simple.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's do that. And I think, you know what? We're like $800 away from this.
So you'll probably hit it by the end of today then?
That'd be awesome. Let's go.
So is there any way for you to like hide how much money you have so that you can stretch it out and do the hourly tweets and say, oh, we need more money, and then we'll do an audit 6 months from now and find out that you had the money already? Is that possible?
No, because the IRS is involved.
Oh.
And you can't tell people like.
Okay, well now that I've learned that the IRS is involved, I'm afraid I need to shut down this stream. I'm sorry. No, I'm just joking. I'm not joking, actually. I'm out of here.
I have lawyers. Fine. I have more than one lawyer.
I also have lawyers. Given that I am now a professional paid by George Soros Antifa protester, I now have my own lawyers as well.
Firm, really.
But yeah, so tell me more about like how long is the comic going to be? How is it going to be? I think you said like 90 pages. Am I correct?
70 pages.
Okay, I was close. Yeah. I was hoping. I was trying to like push you into that direction, but I have seemingly failed. Is it possible if that we get like let's say $18,000, you'll make it 90 pages?
Sure, yeah, but that pushes the timeline back, so it won't deliver when originally promised.
Right. Okay.
But you can totally do that. And I gotta say, like 70 pages when it's a comic book, it may or may not be like a lengthy read, right? Like it could go real quick, or you could read it over, a longer course of time. But yesterday the artist turned in all of the thumbnail roughs for the second chapter. The first chapter is done. The second chapter is underway, and we saw what every page is going to look like on a single page. So real small thumbnails. And it is a dense story. There's a lot going on. And there's a massive fight scene right at the end of chapter 2. It's the big epic moment in the book. I'm really excited to get into it. It's going to be very cool. So I think people are going to get to the end of chapter 1, and there's something so crazy that happens right on the last page that they might have to put it down for a minute and just process, because it's the kind of thing that, well, if you saw this in real life, you would never unsee it.
Okay.
And so this
isn't real life, and I'll be able to recover.
Exactly. But we had to top this in chapter 2, and we're going to have to top it again in chapter 3, because you can't have such a high note at the beginning and then fade out, right? So it gets crazier and crazier as the story goes. So I think people are really going to enjoy it. So 70 pages of non-stop action.
All right. This is going to be adrenaline fueling. I'll read it before bed, and I'll be staying up sweating for 3 hours. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it's like meth in that way.
Okay. Okay. So I have another question. Have you ever thought of having Easter eggs in the comic? Like, let's say there's a crowd of people watching a fight. Are these crowds of people going to be Easter eggs? Or are they going to be random people that are just kind of created out of thin air? What is your thought on that subject?
There are Easter eggs. We haven't used any people as Easter eggs, but there are things that wrestling fans would go, oh, I know what that is. And comic book fans would know what that is.
What if I am neither a wrestling fan or a comic book fan? Will I catch any of this?
Yes, there are Easter eggs as far as commentary.
Okay.
On, you'll say, wow, that sounds communist.
Okay.
Right? Or like, think about gangs and cartels moving into certain neighborhoods, like having a Walmart on both ends of town, right? Or having, fracking move into your town, right? So these are very similar concepts to us. So there's a lot of symbolism there, and there's a lot of things that would make progressives go, I've heard this same commentary out of this context. So we think that'll be interesting, because we put on the page what we believe in and what we know in the context of a fictionalized world.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's relatable. And we want this to be relatable to everyone. So putting little Easter eggs in there is imperative. But did you have someone specific in mind?
Well, yeah, me. But no, I was just wondering, like, we have a good thing in the chat here. It could be a donation incentive, like pay $100 and you're in the background somewhere, kind of a thing.
We are considering that, but it takes place in Mexico, and there's exactly one Caucasian American in the whole book.
That's true.
So it would be
think about this.
It would be tricky, to do that. But
maybe you could do like a sequel series where like a bonus chapter that you release like 6 months later. That's like on tour, and then they go to like various countries, and then that's where you get the Easter egg characters.
Yeah, we could totally do that. And I actually, for the record, mildly argued against having this American person in the book, and I was like, I just don't want any gringos in the book, right? But then, so then we have other books where we could do that, but the way I was won over was they were like, well, he's not a good person. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's better to acknowledge how horrible the white man is than to ignore their horribleness. They're horrible, evil. Of course, as we say on the show, white lives don't matter. And so that's a very important message.
What is that Michael Brooks quote where white people on drugs look disgusting and all white people look disgusting anyway or something? I love that. I laugh out loud every time I hear that.
I'm on drugs right now, and as you can see, I'm looking like shit. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
That's not true.
That is it not true that I'm on drugs or that I look like shit?
The second one, the latter. Come on, give
Okay.
yourself some credit.
Okay. Okay. I'll give myself some credit. Very little.
You protesting for how many days?
Today will be day 85.
And would you say that physically your fitness has improved?
Oh, yes. I've run from the cops more times than I can count.
See, if I did anything for 80 days straight, I would look like garbage at my age because everything seems to make me feel worse. I
Sure.
can't get it together.
I
So
definitely
it's
need some
depressing.
more sleep. That's my big problem right now is I'm drinking too much caffeine and I'm not sleeping enough. But other than that, I mean my legs are like I could, do one of those watermelon crushes with my thighs if I wanted to. My
Wow.
upper body could be a little bit better, but I'm working on that.
Yeah. Well, the point is that you're improving while doing something productive.
Absolutely. Yes. It's like, one of my goals for post-pandemic life, which as a vaccinated person, that's the world I live in, was to become more physically fit. And so now I don't even have to try. I'm just, it's like, it's cheating. It's easy mode.
Yeah. So the point is, do all the drugs you want. You'll be fine. Fuck it.
Famous last words. Do all the drugs you want. There you go.
You're
Um,
you're leaning out of buses, correct?
That's correct. Yesterday, I was holding on to a metal pole, and I had my one leg wrapped around the bus door to hold my body weight, and I, on the other hand, had the megaphone. And I wish someone would have recorded this because I couldn't have my camera on at the same time. But I had the megaphone. I was screaming at the houses. I was screaming to the skies, and it was pretty incredible to watch. You had to have been there.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, somebody's got to record that.
I'll next time I'll ask someone to record it.
I could just draw it and just imagine it and do a cartoon of it.
You should. You should. In fact, you should do it right now.
Okay. Not live.
No, do it live. Make a whole live stream process.
I consider doing some live streaming, like drawing, like with the camera on the iPad, but I don't have the guts.
That's the
I get
thing for
very
me. Like doing creative stuff like that is like super good when it comes to like showing the process. But for me, it's distracting. Like having a chat room open and trying to draw. Like I have to be in a certain my art isn't drawing, but I have to be in like a certain mindset to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I'm gonna turn
I
my air
don't think
conditioner back on. It's already too hot in here.
But yeah, I mean, I think that, you're doing all kinds of stuff that would normally require a stunt double
That's
and
true.
and training on top of like even athletes train to be that good and you're just hitting the street. So you're not even training for it. You're just doing it. So
Well, I
that
would
has
say
training on
I
something else.
spent the entirety of 2020 reading on nutrition and healthy eating, right?
There you go.
I lost like 100 pounds, and that was my training, right? I was just like, my goal was put myself in a situation where if something happens, I'm capable. And I'll tell you, the first 2 weeks of that protesting, that was rough on my legs. Like I was rough. But then there came a point where I could just walk 17 miles in a day, and I'd be fine. And that's where I'm at right now.
I couldn't do it. I used to run a 6-minute mile, and I couldn't walk. I don't know. I walk 4 miles at a time probably, and then turn back
Oof.
4 miles both ways, and that's it for me. But speaking of nutrition, outside of like I can't give up regular ice cream, but otherwise I'm pretty much vegan right now.
Okay.
I still eat the ice cream. I can't like vegan ice cream tastes like garbage to me. I can't do it.
So what I'm understanding is that you're a fake vegan. Is that correct?
No, I'm not a vegan.
Okay, but you said you're mostly vegan, which means you're not
Except
vegan.
for ice cream once a month.
Wow. So
And
you're a vegan for
cheese
29
on
days
pizza.
at a time?
Yeah, I eat cheese on pizza.
Me too. I mean, I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. I that's built in for me. Like I'm like cheese on. You're telling me as an Italian American, I can't have mozzarella? I'm sorry. I just
So eating dairy, does that make you not vegetarian? Or
no.
you could be
Vegetarian
vegetarian.
is including eggs and dairy.
Oh, okay. So really, I don't even do eggs anymore. So I'm looking good. I haven't had meat since 2015. I haven't had chicken or pork since 2019. And this year I gave up like fish and shrimp. So
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. As you
what?
can see on the camera, my phone is being held. So you said you hadn't had meat since 2015? Then
Red meat.
also said you ate chicken in 2019.
I'm talking about red meat.
Well, you should have said red meat.
Well, I don't call it. Yeah, I guess chicken and pork are meat, but not beef industry meat.
Sure, but they're
So
still meat. You're still killing an innocent animal. Reminder, pigs are
I
smarter
didn't
than
actually.
dogs.
I know. I would need a dog. So I had a $200 steak. That was my last red meat ever. And I was in South Carolina for 3 weeks, and I would eat at two different barbecue places a day. And that was my big last hurrah for pork and chicken. And I went to a crawfish boil a few weeks ago, and that was the last time I've had chicken or shrimp. So, or shrimp or fish. So, I'm trying to go out on a high note every time.
I understand. I understand. I never liked
So,
fish to begin with. I always thought it smelled
oh,
disgusting, made me want to puke. Every time I was around it, I'd be like, right? So, like, I had, like, shrimp maybe once in my life. Ugh.
oh, really? Wow, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. So,
I lived there for a long time. That made me hate it even more. I was next to
where?
the ocean. Well, I lived in Maryland, but I lived in the D.C. area. But they still have crabs everywhere. They've got all these fucking fish everywhere. Smelled like shit. My neighbor would always cook fish and open the windows. I'd go outside, try to throw something in the trash can. I'd be like, oh God, I wake up 6 hours later in a ditch somewhere. I don't even know what happened to me.
I have a neighbor doing full-on charcoal hamburger barbecuing out back.
Is this the
Like,
right-wing neighbor?
no,
Okay.
that's the guy who had the crawfish boil. You know,
Okay.
that guy and I, we're actually very, very good friends. Although I tell him daily how much I don't approve of him, his way of thinking. I'll get up and leave. I'll go, okay, dude, that's too far for me. I'm out. I'll see you later. I'm always telling him how wrong he is. Believe me, I go full bore on this guy.
And
But
shout outs to them for being able to take it.
exactly. And, you know, he always comes back at me with stuff that's just right wing talking points and totally untrue. But the rest of the time, he and I plan block parties. We we um we ran a food bank together for a number of years. So we would drive around delivering, food baskets that would feed families for up to 2 weeks. We could turn around a basket in 24 hours. And so he and I have very similar principles, but when it comes to, where you stand politically or on policy, he's just totally brainwashed and poisoned by Fox News and the right wing. He's not on Facebook, so it could be way worse. He hasn't embraced the QAnon stuff, But his way of thinking is so distorted that I need to remain in his life to course correct.
Sure, I mean, eventually, the idea is eventually they're gonna fucking snap. Because really, it's one of those things where you just need to break one core policy belief, and then the rest come tumbling with it. It's like playing Jenga.
Yeah, we got into a big argument the other day about white privilege, and he
Which,
said,
of course, does not exist.
right, and he goes, you know what? I've earned everything I ever had. And I was like, yeah, with white privilege. And he goes, no, I've never been given an extra opportunity. I'm like, but you have, just because of how you were born. And he just couldn't get his head around it. I'm like, look, see that white guy? He benefits from white privilege. It's probably not worth making an example out of him because he's not doing anything bad in his life, right? So, like, I use my white privilege for good all the time. That's my goal. But that's me understanding that I have a ton of white privilege, right? So, during the argument, he just kept going back to how he had to work for everything he had. And I was like, okay, I mean, but the opportunity to do that work was based on the fact of how you were born. It's being born with unearned rights and assets based on birthright or skin color. He just could not. He just can't
For a lot
get
of
down
like,
into it that
it's
deep.
people do not understand that like it's not that I'm a white person, I get like a fee from the government, or like it's not like you get a paycheck like, oh, here's your white check, I'm white so I get like $700 extra. That's not how it works. It's you have more opportunities. You don't know you have more opportunities because you have those opportunities, right? It's less so that like white people have more opportunities and more so that other people have less opportunities, right? But it still creates that kind of area where you have more opportunities. They just think, oh, you said white privilege, but I worked. Yeah, but you worked not as hard as you would have if you were, like, say, a black woman, for example. I just never understood this bullshit. And like, does this person believe in like the gender pay gap?
No, not at all. I asked him, I said, have you ever been called, has anyone ever called the cops because you were walking down the street or in a neighborhood you didn't live in? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, that happens all the time if you're not white. And you can't deny it. And he's like, well, I've never seen that. And then you fall into this whole, he said South Korea doesn't have a successful COVID what do you call it? Like, they've been very successful with the pandemic and keeping people healthy in South Korea. And he doesn't believe that because he's not there to see it with his own eyes. And I was like, how can you deny all this stuff in the world but trust yourself? Right? So we have to remain critical of ourselves to be the best people we can be, right?
I mean, we have to understand that the world is a lot bigger than the shit that we're seeing. Like, if you just want to limit your perspective to your front lawn, then, you know, like, I've never been on a boat, therefore boats don't exist. They just appear in cartoons because they're fictional. I've never been to space, therefore spaceships don't exist.
Right. Oh, I mean, you don't even want to get going on the moon landing. A lot of people don't believe in the moon landing, actually.
I mean, okay, let me tell you this. It's a valid conspiracy. Because why the fuck are we not on the moon anymore? We were going to the moon like every couple months. We were going to the moon. We were going to the moon for fun. We were doing it just to have dance party. And now all of a sudden we stopped? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's strange. You know, like, that's a little bizarre. Right? So I can understand that conspiracy theory.
But it doesn't matter. Who cares? That was in the 60s, right? Does it matter now if we were there or not?
It does matter, because the flag on the moon that was planted, actually what it does is it changes the gravitational mass of the moon very slightly, which is probably why the oceans are rising.
So we have been there.
Yes. And the proof is the oceans are rising. Climate change does not exist. However, it's the flag on the moon, which is what causes the change in the tides, which is what is making Florida sink.
I have a friend who they gave me a valid point. They go, why do we have pictures of Mars? And I interject, if those are actually pictures of Mars, but why are there cameras of Mars taking video, not the flag on the moon? How come somebody can't just go, okay, look, real quick, here's the flag, see, we were there, and then zoom out?
That's a good question.
But it
Are
can
you
all
coming
be
out as a moon landing skeptic right now?
No, I'm agnostic. I could care less if we were there or not.
Whoa!
Doesn't matter.
Hold the phone, buddy. You could care less.
No, I mean, yes, right. I could care less. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
I don't care.
But you could care less.
So I don't care if we were there or not, because I don't think it has any relevance in what's happening on planet Earth now or since we were there or not there.
But you do care a little, because if you could care less, that means you do care a little bit.
I care because if we were there, there's obviously a way to shut down all the conspiracy instead of just saying, no, we were totally there. Well, no further proof. I mean, if you went to the moon in the 60s, you should be able to prove it now. But the fact that they haven't, I don't really care.
Okay, so you don't care about the fact that they haven't proven it. But as far as the moon landing, you at least care a little bit, because you, as you stated, you could care less. So you're not. It's not that you couldn't care less. because that would be absolute zero. But you could care less, that meaning you're somewhere between 1 and infinity.
Well, apparently, for Florida's sake, somebody needs to go back up there and get rid of that flag.
That's true. That's true.
Get it out.
That fucking flag, man. I mean, maybe the flag flew off. Maybe that's why they're embarrassed. They don't. Maybe like, what if the flag just came like barreling back into Earth's orbit and then just like stabbed someone in the fucking head or something?
See, here's the thing, though. The more you think about anything, the more it can unravel.
That's
and
true.
So then you just have to ask yourself, is this really important? Thinking about all this? That's like the bad side of drugs. Sometimes you do drugs and go down a rabbit hole and you're like, what a waste of time.
I have done many drugs and I've gone down many rabbit holes that have wasted my time. But they're always so fun at the time that I don't mind. I mean, you know, so what if I'm staring at the ceiling for 17 hours, or what feels like 17 hours? It's a good looking ceiling. Have you seen this shit? Check this out. Look at that. That's a nice looking ceiling. So can you blame me? I mean, really?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like the surface of the moon.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. All right, so we're gonna try to wrap this up because I gotta go run downtown for this press conference. Do you have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Man, that sounds so cool. I'm not going to do anything as cool as running downtown. What are you, Lois Lane? That is awesome.
I'm going to be honest. I'm probably not going to run downtown. I'm probably going to jog or maybe walk. It depends. Like, if you keep me going, if you can filibuster for another 30 minutes, I'll have to run.
No, I have to go too.
Okay, you have to go too?
I think I just want to thank everyone for the support. I want to thank you for having me on here. Thank you for not cussing me out. And if everyone goes to Comic Milagro, at Comic Milagro, or at the Letterhack on Twitter, you'll be able to find links to the Kickstarter. Remember, Sam Cedar in a compromising position, right? You can contribute to the Kickstarter and look at your ceiling at the same time if you hold your phone on your back, which is like a new trending thing that people are doing.
They hold their phone on the back like this?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
I can do that. Look, I just did it.
There you go.
There you go.
But we have 20 days to go. We're really close to that first stretch goal. Everyone gets more for their contribution without having to contribute anymore, which is a big deal, I think. And and I just want to say,
outside the USA contribute. Chat question.
Yeah, sure. Shipping is a little funny because those rates are higher and they move around. And like by the time the book's ready to deliver, is there going to be a pandemic? Who knows? So we kind of made like a flat rate, which takes into account our supplies and stuff like that. But the digital offering for $15 will actually be a high resolution PDF. So it's not like some
high
low
is the resolution.
Probably 300 DPI.
I don't know what that means.
That's high. So anything under 300 is low.
Okay.
So anything over 300, it'll be too hard to download. But we made that offering specifically for international folks so they don't miss out. Because a $25 book, and like let's say you're somewhere where shipping is $30, that's a little weird, right?
I mean, it's still worth it. It's an exclusive comic. It's not like you can go to the bookstore and buy it. Unless, this is where you announce, your next stretch goal is to get it in bookstores. Is that correct?
No, but it will be in bookstores, and it will be available to retailers. But it almost makes sense for people out of the U.S. to go for a higher reward level, because then you're getting your money's worth when it comes to shipping.
Okay.
Yeah. And, even at the $15 digital copy, you can still get the $15 add-on, which is a full-color digital portrait by myself. You can get up to 5 of those. Normally, that's $25 each.
Hold the phone. Yeah. So for $15, I can get you to draw me 5 times? Is that correct?
Yeah. Or anybody, really.
What can I get for $30? 10 times?
You can get 2 $15 ones. So it's $15 each, up to 5, and that's $75 total. But normally they're $25 each.
Okay, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
it's one add-on at a time.
$75 that I can get 5 portraits.
Yeah.
So okay.
They make good gifts.
Okay, so let me. Okay, this is actually okay. So I can get you to draw anything I want. Like, what about the background? Like, if you drew me, could I request you draw me on like Jupiter or something?
That's not included in the digital portrait, but there's another reward level. It's a full-on 9x6 commission,
9x6.
I'm going all out on those.
Well, 9x6 is the aspect ratio, right? So like.
No, that will be a physical print that will mail to you. It'll be the original art.
Okay.
Which I never do. That's expensive.
I am once again, as you can see, holding the phone. So how much was that?
That one, let me check. So, of course, you get a ton of stuff with that. That is reward level 9. It's $300 or more. And so you get the digital book, the printed book, 2 sticker sheets, the Lucha art print, the Holy Mother art print, the digital sketchbook, Strackbein signature sketch, which is all signed the book with a drawing on the inside. We'll give you a shout out and print, and the 9x6 art commission.
So
normally a commission is like $200-$300 alone, so you get all that stuff for it.
So now, let's be honest. I'm giving you a little bit of a free advertising here. How much would you say this free advertising is worth? Like, maybe $600, you know, like a free advertising. It's possible.
I can't put a dollar amount on it.
So, I mean, like, if I were to give you, let's say, like, $10, would this qualify for the 290 extra? Is that possible? Is that a conceivable?
And we have to see what money is generated post podcast here.
Okay, how about this? Every person from Above It All's chat room that you see that contributes to the Kickstarter, can I get like a credit thing? Is there like a referral fee?
Yes.
All right, folks, that's right. There you go. Link in the description.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
That would be huge.
That's huge.
Because we're so close to seeing Sam Cedar in a compromising position.
Folks, think about it. 1, I will request any photo of me to be drawn that I want, and it will be in the background of the stream for the rest of my life. Think about that. And you get to support this comic, which is also pretty cool too. But most importantly, you will be helping me in my endeavors.
Right.
Think about that.
That's a big deal.
It's huge.
Trying to see if Sam has retweeted it yet. He has not.
That's a shame. It's almost like he's running away once again. I would like to remind everyone that Sam Cedar has refused to debate me over whether or not he does a daily show. As it was confirmed a while ago, he does not do a daily show. And to my understanding, he still claims that he does a daily show. Is that true? Can anyone verify that fact, that Sam Cedar still pretends to have done a daily show?
Just, how do you define daily?
Daily, as in happening every day?
Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't do it. And I've called him out numerous occasions. I'm about to start calling his phone lines. And y'all, I mean, this is a serious thing. Can you please call Sam Cedar on the Majority Report and ask him to debate me? Because he does not do a daily show where he claims he does. And I really, this is a huge problem. Like, this is, like, again, if you're telling me you do a daily show, how can I trust anything else you say?
You're asking people to stay on the phone line for 1 hour to 3 months.
That's correct.
Just to get through.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Well, the thing is, the more people do it, the higher the chance is. All we need is to get a couple people in. So it's like another group effort. So first you contribute to the Kickstarter. Then you give me money just for being me. And then you call in the Majority Report and ask them to talk about me because I'm valuable to society. And then question mark, and then profit. It's that simple.
Right.
All right, now that I've uncomfortably extended this interview by another 15 minutes, is there anything else that you have to say?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love coming on this show.
Yeah, no worries. And we can get you on like a couple days before the Kickstarter ends if you want. I have no problem with that.
Cool. Okay, yeah. I'm up for that.
All right. Are you down for it, though?
Always. Totally.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm always
you're both up and then also down. That's actually pretty big because that limits your options of escape.
I'm going in every direction at all times.
Okay,
so.
That's brilliant. All right, so again, now that the interview has been uncomfortably extended for a very unnecessary amount of time, thank you all for watching. Do you have anything else left to say? I already asked that like 4 times, and I'm asking it once again.
I'm good.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
All
You
right.
have a great day.
Later.
This is the part where I awkwardly try to set up the outro, which was not set up whatsoever. This is why I should have uncomfortably extended. Okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.